Tonight on SUTV News, 477 days after the faculty union contract expired, APSCUF has finally had enough.
The faculty took to the picket lines at 5 this morning and are only just now starting to pack up.
We have everything you need to know about the strike, and it's all right now.
Thanks for joining us on this special edition of SUTV News. I'm Isabella Marcelino.
And I'm Jake Gillespie. SHIP's on-campus newspaper, The Slate, has been following the strike right alongside us here at SUTV. Slate News editor Troy Oakham was one of the first on scene at the picket line. Marina Barnett is here with Troy to get his thoughts.
Thanks, Jake. So Troy, today you were there at 5 o'clock this morning at the picket line. Can you just explain what it was like? Can you kind of paint the scene for us?
Sure. So at about 4:30 a.m. there was a lot of media outlets out ready, and there was some anticipation. Nobody knew if the faculty were going to go on strike at that point. So when 5 o'clock rolled around, Dr. Kim Garris, APSCUF's SU's spokesperson, finally said that the strike was a go. And faculty members just sort of came out of the woodwork at that point with their coffee, with their signs, and they were ready to strike. And there was about half a dozen faculty members to start out with, and they walked up and down North Prince Street in front of Old Main. And that's when they started getting more support. And as the hours went on, they got more faculty members, and then they finally got some student support out there as well.
Right. Were there a lot of students there early this morning? And you said about the media. Was it kind of crazy? Was there like a certain energy? Like, can you kind of talk about that?
It was, there was certainly energy, but I would say it was more of a calm energy. People were certainly prepared. The media were prepared, and the faculty members were prepared, even though nobody knew for sure what was going to happen. Once students found out that the strike was on, I would say about 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, maybe half a dozen students came out to that particular location. However, there were about, I believe, 5 other picket lines around the university where students and faculty members were at too.
Okay, and you actually went to Harrisburg today and also Millersville University. Can you talk about that a little bit? What was going on at the other colleges?
Sure. So when I went up to Harrisburg, that was about at 11 a.m. I think it was, and Dr. Ken Mash and Catherine Morton, they were actually up all night, so they were taking a nap at that point. But there were other APSCUF staff members there. There were a lot of Shippensburg University professors and Millersville and a mix of other professors there. So they were in the front and the back of the Dixon University Center. Same kind of deal with the picket line, chanting with the signs as cars passed, honking the horns. And at Millersville, there was a lot more energy and excitement, especially with students. It was kind of almost festive in the sense because there were students out with a lot of brass instruments, playing music, a lot of chanting going on. They were making signs right there in front of their library on North George Street, and there were faculty lined up all against there. So there were several hundred people out in that area, and they were marching around campus too.
Now, was that like a student rally, or was it just their picket line in general?
Part of it was the picket line against the street. However, the students had their own separate rally, and I wasn't sure how exactly it was planned. It almost seemed like a patchwork kind of plan. One of the students I spoke to, she said that she was out there just with some of her friends, and they decided to get a table, get some markers, get some posters, and just say, hey students, make your signs, we bought this, it's on us, we're here to support the faculty. Other students were out there just doing their own thing to be in solidarity with the faculty.
Right, I noticed that today too on the picket line. There were a lot of students out there. It seems like everyone's just coming together. So thank you so much for coming here and talking to us and telling us what it was like at 5 o'clock this morning. I'm sure you're tired.
Very.
So we'll send it back to them at the desk.
Okay.
Thanks, Marina, and thank you, Troy. Starting on Friday, negotiators from both PASHE and APSCUF met at a neutral location for talks scheduled throughout the weekend. The last session was scheduled for Sunday, but both sides continued talks on Monday and Tuesday. Negotiators agreed to a media embargo on Saturday afternoon. The embargo lasted through Tuesday night.
at 9:30 last night, the state system walked into union negotiators and said, here's our final best offer, and we're done negotiating.
But the faculty members didn't give up. APSCUF representatives remained at the table until the 5 a.m. deadline.
So the last statement that Ken Mash, who's the president of APSCUF, said was, you have my number. You tell me where and when, and I'll be there.
As of now, PASHE has not attempted to resume negotiations.
Some students have expressed concerns over the future of their semester. Students look to their professors for answers both in and out of the classroom, but in this case, at least, the faculty have questions of their own.
We really don't know what happens next. We know that we are prepared to stay out as long as we have to get a fair contract to ensure that I can be the professor for you that I've always been.
Faculty are ready to take to the classrooms as soon as both sides reach a temporary agreement. Once today's strike became official, APSCUF chapter president Kara Laskowski joined in on the early morning picketing. Ian Fitzgerald spoke with Dr. Laskowski, who stressed that students keep up to date with ongoing negotiations.
And tell them to settle a contract now. They can also contact the governor and their state House representative and state senator and ask those individuals to please apply some pressure to the state system. Get Frank Brogan to leave his house and come back to the negotiating table.
A joint effort by students to contact state officials could help bring an end to the strike.
With students left wondering about their future for the semester, President Jody Harpster addressed common questions. He allowed students in the Cub NPR to ask questions not answered through emails sent by the state and university. During his Q&A, he explained why he backed PASHE during these negotiations. Harpster said, quote, I believe that the state made a fair and honorable commitment in their last offer. Harpster hopes a resolution is found soon. The faculty aren't alone in their protests. A student group calling themselves Students in Solidarity hosted a rally in the Cub Amphitheater. They may not be at the negotiating table, but the group is still playing an important role.
We saw how much our efforts and our support actually affected or impacted the faculty. Like, they know that we're supporting them, that we're behind them, and it seriously just like lifts their spirits. It makes them understand, oh my God, yeah, we're fighting for this, and our students actually have our back in this as well.
Across campus, eventually joining the faculty on the picket line. Will the strike affect the Red Raider football team and the other sports?
And what is Greek life doing while they're not in class? We have answers after the break. Some students may have welcomed the strike as a needed day off, but others feel betrayed by APSCUF, PASHE, or both. Others still think that hearts are in the right place.
I think the biggest thing that students need to understand is this isn't professors doing this for themselves. This isn't them fighting for a pay raise. They're also fighting for the quality of our education.
Students are encouraged to attend class. If the professor doesn't show up within the first 10 minutes, the students are free to leave. Due to the strike, the open house scheduled for this Saturday, October 22nd, has been canceled. Shippensburg University canceled the event in advance to give prospective students and family time to plan accordingly. The university plans to host an extra open house in December, along with the originally scheduled event on December 10th. President Jody Harpster hopes that canceling the open house won't affect admissions with the class of 2021.
Red Raider sports fans weren't sure if the strike would affect athletics. The coaches union did not strike, but the athletic trainers did strike with APSCUF. Luckily for Ship fans, the university hired temporary trainers from Dreher Physical Therapy in Chambersburg. The athletics administration also confirmed that all home games will go on as scheduled. Away games will depend on whether the hosting school are able to find their own athletic trainers. Members of Ship's Greek Life came out to support the faculty today. They brought professors snacks to keep the protesters well fed. These snacks included water, soda, pizza, and even a grill to make hot dogs. After lunch, the Greek Life members picketed alongside the professors to stand in solidarity. Thanks for joining us on SUTV News. I'm Jake Gillespie.
And I'm Isabella Marcelino. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SUTV News, and check out our website, sutvnews.com.
Be sure to tune in tomorrow for our regularly scheduled broadcast. We'll see you then.